All right, my friends, so I want to do a video in response to my responses that I got on my UBI, Uniform Basic Income video I did last night. Right after Thanksgiving dinner, when I was full of turkey. After I do this walk and go back and get some more. All right. So I don't get the people on the right. It's the weirdest thing to me, the comments on that. I'm sitting there thinking, these people like, oh man, now it's just gonna be socialism all over. The socialism is blah, blah, blah. And I just sit there, it's like they're playing small ball. Small ball. Well, the Marxists just march on. There is no UBI now. And guess what? Marxism is approaching everywhere. Big media, big education, big corporations, big government, everywhere, big labor. We haven't had UBI, and we've done nothing to arrest the encroachment of Marxism. Maybe we try something different. Oh, it's so frustrating to me. Maybe we try a different approach instead of saying, they'll never raise taxes, can't have any tax raise because they'll never stop. And yet, what's going on here? We have no money to pay for programs which people like. Social Security, Medicare. You can call those transfer payments. They're literally not transfer payments. You know why? Because we fund them with taxpayers. They're Ponzi schemes. I get that without question. But they are funded with taxes. They aren't transfer payments, i.e. you don't do anything and you get money. UBI is like that. I will tell you. What's the benefit of it though? It allows people to pull their kids out of schools if they so choose. They can say, I don't want my kids subject to the Marxist crap being filtered through Jeb Bush and his stupid Common Core stuff, filtered by the NEA and the AFT. I don't want my kids subject to that, but I can't afford to raise my kid at home and educate him because I need to have a freaking job. Because I'm a single mom, or because we're not making enough money to afford our mortgage. I don't care what it is, but I don't have the resources to homeschool, and as such, a UBI would be a welcome reprieve from the Marxist marching of the education establishment, which we're all under. And as such, I could pull my kids from the educational establishment and freaking teach them to be independent critical thinkers, which is what the educational establishment is supposed to do, but they've long given up that. Somebody made a good point. He said, basically, since the federal Department of Education came on board under Jimmy Carter, it's all gone downhill. Man, I could not agree with that more. 100%. 100%. Nixon had the EPA. We're all doomed. Carter had the DOE, Department of Education. We're all doomed from then. But yet, hey, let's argue that universal basic income is just Marxism. It's just going to spread socialism more. I'm like, well, what the hell's happening now? Oh, it's so frustrating, man. So frustrating. On top of that, how do you pay for it? Simple. You friggin' say, as I've said before, I don't think I said this in yesterday's video, but I've said in my other videos on UBI, you get rid of all other transfer payments, i.e. welfare. You say, no more unemployment money, no more unemployment bureaucracy, no more SNAP, no more EBT cards, no more of this, no more of that, no more minimum wage, no more Medicaid. What we'll have is we'll have a public option, essentially be Medicaid, I get that. And then we'll have a voucher system where people can take money like the GI Bill. Say, here, we're going to give you a certain amount of money every year. You can go in the public option, Medicaid, or you can go get your own insurance. Just like the GI Bill. Idiots who argue the GI Bill is socialist are just dumb. It's just not even worth debating those people. It's just stupid. So you say, okay, now I get a voucher of $10,000 a year. I can shop around whatever insurance I want, or I can go in the public option. That's freaking freedom. It's liberating. That is a public-private partnership for sure. Just like the GI Bill, just like Medicare Advantage. And by the way, Medicare Advantage gets high reviews from people. I will go on a Medicare supplemental policy as opposed to Medicare Advantage because I expect to be able to afford it. But if I can't, I'll go on Medicare Advantage, and people who are on Medicare Advantage are quite content with it and the service that they've done. that is literally a voucher program. Public-private partnership. The libertarian / conservative utopia of no taxes for anybody, no regulation for anybody. Just stop with this. You have to win, by the way, to advance any kind of solution. You can't, this is the thing. Well, we win by being Santa Claus, like my man CB from California. And it frustrates me. I'm sitting there like, dude, we aren't winning as it is, and they're still encroaching us. Maybe we try a different tack. We say, let's get in the game, offer our solutions that might be able to get us a seat at the table. And when we take over, because we're appealing to a wider base, we can say, hey, you know what would work better than government dictates? Would be vouchers, a freedom, what we'd call patient power from the early 90s, where you're in charge, just like the GI Bill. It's not rocket science, my friends. You get rid of the huge bureaucracy that already exists with all these transfer payment schemes where there's so many bureaucrats for pointing. They got these things called block grants, and then they had other grants from the federal government to the states, where the states are in charge of the federal money and how it gets allocated. All that has bureaucrats. Get rid of them all. Get rid of them all. Get rid of the minimum wage. Allow people to work for a fee that they, as grown people, grown human beings, say, hey, this is what my labor is worth. I want you to pay me for it. An employer says, no, your labor is not worth that. Okay, I will show you why you're wrong. I'll either go work for somebody else or we'll negotiate it. But it's between you and me, as freestanding people, to have that negotiation. It's so crazy, it just might work. And now we have no bureaucracy to mandate it. No one's sitting there saying, oh, I found out you weren't offering a minimum wage. We're gonna take you to court. Oh my goodness. All right, so we get rid of all the other transfer payments, save tons of money in that regard. We get a voucher program, save tons of money in that regard, because human beings are capable of managing their own affairs, all right? We say, if you want just a basic income and a public option, you're welcome to do that. No problem at all. Probably costs, we'll say, $50,000 a year with a $3,000 a month UBI and the public option. How much does it cost now with all the salaries that are supported by the bureaucracy? All right, so part two of this. What about people who are just gonna be junkies? This actually probably frustrates me more than anything. And this is the problem I have with many of people on the right. It's an innate or inherent, I guess, I don't know what it is, lack of trust in their fellow human beings. The idea that most people would rather just sit around and not work. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't believe it. With my own very eyes, I see most people work. They get something out of work. Most people do not just want to sit there, make $3,000 a month and eat Cheetos. But most people want more than that. Are there going to be some people who say, hey, $3,000 a month, I'm comfortable? Yeah, that's the whole point about the UBI. That's the whole point. There are people like that right now anyway. So now what we're saying is, if you are somebody who wants to try something new, to learn a skill, to learn a trade, to get out of the education establishment, to try something, we're going to provide you a certain level of income that you know for a fact you can fall back on while you're learning a skill set. Most people, especially Americans, do not want to sit on their butts eating Cheetos, smoking dope. Most people, work is a wonderful thing. Being industrious is a wonderful thing. You know that, I know that, everyone knows that. Stop with this idea that half the population is just gonna sit on their freaking butts not doing anything. A whole nother reason why I advocate for legalizing drugs, by the way. We have this huge entrepreneurship in the inner cities who are taking advantage of insane drug laws to make money. Unfortunately, it's a violent thing, just like the freaking prohibition was for selling of alcohol. These guys are entrepreneurs, inherently. They're using the laws of the land to build empires. Why not turn that into something that's legal and legitimate? Oh, for the love of me, it drives you up the wall. Are they horrible people? Well, if they're shooting people, yes. If they're providing a service to people, yes. If that service is killing those people, yes, I get all that. At the end of the day, though, they're seeing an opportunity that is there, and they're meeting the demand. Can you blame them? If you're looking around and say, there's really not much else for me here, but this is one thing I can do, make a bunch of money tax-free, by the way. And I mean, look, I'm not glamorizing it, it's horrible. But it's this entrepreneurship, man. These people are freaking saying, okay, well, I'll learn to build an entrepreneur system. It's horrible, but this is, oh my goodness. The idea that there's so many Americans who think other Americans are just lazy and want to sit around and not do anything. Why would you work? As some people say on my YouTube channel. Because you're only making $3,000 a month, man. $3,000 a month. You might, I mean, I just use that for, I don't care what it is. It's just a basic number. Maybe it's $3,000 a month in a more expensive city. Maybe it's $1,500 a month in Mississippi or something. I don't know. I'm just using that for a number. Why would you work? Because you naturally want to expand yourself and to make more than the basic income. You say, I want more than this. On top of that, by the way, we're going to get rid of all the housing stuff. We're going to say, look, man, at the end of the day, you got $3,000 a month. That's going to cover your rent. That's going to cover your health insurance. That's going to cover your food. So if you want more than that, well, doggone, you're going to have to get a job. And because there's no minimum wage, you're going to have to get a job where it doesn't pay that much potentially. But guess what? You can learn a skill. And that skill can lead to bigger and better things if you so desire. But the idea that Americans en masse are just sitting around waiting for a government welfare check, yes, there are some. Too many, I grant you. But it's not that many people in the overall scheme of things. There's 330 million people in the U.S. 30 million got laid off, especially in the service industry. Service industry is the people who are most affected by this coronavirus lockdown crap. A lot of those people are not white-collar professionals. They're just regular, lower-income people trying to get by. You think that all of a sudden out of nowhere they're going to say, I don't want to work anymore? No, they might not do waiting of tables. They might say, I want to do something else. They're not just going to sit there and say, I don't want to do this. Never mind, some other guy said a good point too. He said, think if we had put this in, how many people could retire early because they didn't have to worry about their basic income? Yeah, well, human beings also have a need to live a good life too, of satisfaction. Will this solve all the problems? No. Could it go a long way? And especially to get the educational system away from the Marxist tendencies it is? Absolutely. All right, we got a guy here doing some leaf blowing. I'll let you go. See you.